recording.
Okay. Hello, this is our proposal for our practice-oriented project focused on contributing to an open source. We are a team of 5 that will communicate and work almost entirely remotely with each other over the course of this project and the semester. We're going to contribute to exorcism.io, a learning website for programmers that currently has learning tracks for 52 languages. Some of the more popular languages, such as C#, Java, and Python, have well over 100 exercises, and some of the lesser used ones have much fewer. We plan to create a brand new track on the website for the Z3 language, complete with 10 to 12 exercises of varying difficulty and documentation for each. We plan to accomplish this by creating a repository for Z3 to be used through the Exorcism GitHub. Our work will be reviewed by Exorcism and hopefully published to the website itself.
So Z3 is a new language that was created in 2015 by Microsoft Research. It was intended to be a satisfiability modulo theory SMT solver. And that just means that it's an efficient way to check if equations or formulas are satisfiable or have a possible solution. And it can be used for software verification, constraint solving, geometrical problems, security, and test case generation. Currently, there are very few interactive tutorials online since it is still a new language. A lot of the tutorials are just kind of, here's some code and this is what it does, and it doesn't really let you write your own code and then see if it works.
The lack of learning resources limits the number of possible Z3 users. With bindings for some of the most popular languages, it only makes sense to make Z3 more accessible for the common programmer. Our group will be addressing this lack of tutorials and learning opportunities.
Our solution to this is to create tutorials that teach potential learners how to use Z3. The tutorials will be substantial and involve more than copying several lines from documentation in order to create a solution. They will be approachable for anyone to quickly read, understand, and begin working on. Our group will provide a clear and in-depth guide for installing the Z3 environment. Lastly, the tutorials will cover lots of uses for Z3, rather than focusing on a narrow band of what it can be used for. We will use these factors to evaluate the success of our solution.
Our group is proposing to create a new language track repository on the Exorcism GitHub team. Each language track on the posted website has their own repository, with each one having a similar structure to the diagram on the slide. In general, each language track repository consists of a documentation section, configuration files, scripts, and exercises. The documentation consists of documentation for both users and contributors. User documentation would mainly be instructions for how to install certain libraries or install certain tools, while documentation for the contributors would basically be explaining how to contribute to the repository. There's also configuration files and scripts, which we won't spend too much time on. Most of our emphasis will be on researching and creating exercises. So our plan is to create 10 to 12 new exercises split up into basic, intermediate, and advanced. For the intermediate and advanced exercises, we will spend some time researching the different applications of Z3 to determine which exercises would best suit creating Z3 exercises for. But each exercise in the repository that we will create consists of exercise-specific documentation, basically just instructions for the user for a specific exercise. They will put their solution code into starter files that we provide for them. The contributors will create test cases to run the user's solution, and we will also create an example solution to for other contributors to see.
And these are our references for the work cited in the slides.